we're supposed to solve for this triangle, and let me do a quick think out loud. You have a right triangle, and like the quizzes I'm going to pass out to you, this is not a 30, 60, 90. It's not a 30, 60, 90 because I don't see the numbers 30 and 60. Okay, so what do we do? Well, you do not have two sides of a right triangle, so I can't use Pythagorean theorem. I'm getting frustrated. Let me kick my foot. Ow! Now we have to use SOHCAHTOA. Now, I wrote the same problem twice because I'm going to show you you can cook a potato in two different ways. You can solve this triangle or x in two separate ways. So the first thing I'm going to do is we need to label the sides. Well, you label the sides based on that given angle. So my given angle here is 25 degrees. That's my starting point. This included angle tells you where to start and how to label your triangles. Let's label it together. Let's do step number 1. Going across from this given angle is called the opposite. That's why it's called opposite. Let's label it. Across the 90 is called the hypotenuse. And of course, the third side is called the adjacent. Put your pencils down and watch and listen. This is probably like the hardest part to conceive. I have the three parts. I have this one set equal to a variable. This is set equal to a number. This is set equal to nothing. I'm going to cross off the nothing. I'm crossing off the hypotenuse. It tells me nothing. That means on SOHCAHTOA, I can cross off every one of them that has an H. Class, which one am I using? I'm using tangent. That was the first way to explain why I'm using tangent, because I don't have hypotenuse. The second way you can explain that I'm using tangent is because I have the opposite and the adjacent. Opposite and adjacent is the tangent. So here I have this fill-in-the-blank formula. And we can just write in there tangent. Tangent of 25 equals the opposite over the adjacent. Feel free to pick up your pencils now. So just determining which trig ratio is probably one of the hardest parts. So let's check that off. I've now determined the trig ratio. Now I need to get a calculator-ready equation. Let's do that. Well, I'm just going to substitute in information I have. Tangent of 25 degrees equals my opposite, which is going to be the x, over the adjacent, which is 8. You could just multiply the right side by 8, or both sides by 8, but problems will become difficult when the variable is in the denominator. So, you can make tangent of 25, you can treat it, you can put parentheses around it. It's like one whole unit. They're a dating couple. Don't break them up. And then you just put it over 1. I have a fraction equals a fraction. That's called a proportion. You solve proportions by cross multiply. Let's cross multiply. So now I have 1 times x was just x. Pay attention. 8 times tangent of 25 is not 25 times 8. 8 times tangent of 25 degrees. That's why I put the tangent of 25 in parentheses. This is nice. I have a calculator-ready equation. What you're putting into the calculator, I can also input. So let's do it together. That way I can also give you partial credit. Class, can I type in 8 tangent 25 in my calculator? Why? We're in the wrong mode. So let's get it over to degrees. Clear that out. Degrees, degrees. Now I can type in 8 parentheses, or times, tangent of 25 And because I have two open parentheses, I close the two parentheses. Did it tell us where our answer is going to be in? What did I say? No? I didn't give you guys directions? It says, round to the nearest tenth. Nearest tenth. So class, our answer is? 3.7. We don't have any units, so this is fine. So to review, start with your given angle and label it. Determine the trig ratios. I showed you two different ways. Get a calculator-ready equation and then solve. Now before I let you guys process, on this side you're doing the same triangle, but I have how many degrees? 65. Put your finger where 65 degrees is. Show your partner. Give him a head nod. Here. Triangle sum theorem says 90 plus 25 plus 65 equals 180. Now you're going to have to go back and label the sides, determine the trig ratio, calculate ready equation, and solve. Tiana, let's label this triangle. Let's label it. From this angle, this side is called the? Opposite. This side? Good. And this one? Adjacent. Raise your hand if you saw that the sides changed. Which one did not change, class? The hypotenuse. Jacqueline, which one of these do I not need? Which one doesn't have a number or a variable? So Jacqueline, which trig ratio are we going to use? We're going to use tangent. Tangent is which two sides, Jacqueline? Correct. Daphne, what is the opposite side? And your adjacent? Daphne, how do you make tangent of 65 a fraction? Correct. Remember, if you get stuck here, treat this like a dating couple. Better, married couple. They're one. Partner A, tell partner B, how do you solve this, or what's the next step? Vita, what's your next step? Let's cross multiply. Tell me what to write, Vita. Okay, at this point, I don't know, I've been teaching this a while. I think some students turn tan 65 into a decimal. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands, but that's not a calculator-ready equation yet, is it? Class, what math operation is here? It's multiplication because there's no addition or subtraction. So it's just multiplying. The opposite of multiplication is, I'm going to divide both sides by tangent of 65. Here this equals 1, and then here you have your calculator-ready equation. X equals 8 over tan 65. Raise your hand if you got that. Let's punch it in. Let me show you guys a trick. Well, we don't need a trick. Come on. 8 divided. Make sure you use extra set of parentheses. So the trig ratio, and then its angle measured in degrees, which I have. Close your parentheses and press enter. If we round to the nearest tenths, Our answer is the same. So class, does it matter which angle you start with? No. You might be in a situation where you might want to use a different angle. Okay? Question?
I did it a different way, but I still got that. Hello there.